Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy and today I present to you the pointless Perino. No, not the low weight. I just recently revisited that one, really enjoyed it and made a video about it. No, today is focused on the defensive variant, and honestly it's basically a wasted weapon option in BF1. I've only just released my video on the variant that nobody asked for, which focused on the Huot optical, and I almost wish I'd saved that title for this video now. At least in that video I had one little reason why a very small amount of people might choose that variant, but with the Perino defensive, I genuinely can't advise a single person to use this. If you don't like the iron sights on the Perino low weight, then try the AA sights. Honestly, have a really good go at getting used to them if you don't like them at first. And if you then just can't get used to them, then I genuinely say use a different LMG, rather than use the Perino defensive. It's objectively that much weaker as a variant. Also, a quick note, today I'm working with a slightly different idea of how negative numerical stats work in the game. I've had it pointed out to me that Synthic may in fact be misleading in displaying lower negative numbers, as in -5 being lower than -4, as a good thing when it could potentially be a bad thing. Thanks to Raw for spending so much time in my comment section explaining this yesterday. These new considerations do seem to make a lot more sense, so I'll be running with them today and in the future unless something is proven otherwise. Anyway, back to the Perino defensive. Now of course, if you want to use the Perino defensive just because you find it fun or whatever, then go for it. But when looking purely at stats and performance in game, I'd be doing you guys a disservice by saying anything other than what I have. It's just a waste. It's like a discount version of the Perino low weight. The defensive has a significantly worse recoil decrease stat, standing at 6 compared to the low weight's 10.002. It does have slightly better spread increase per shot with a stat of -0.085 compared with the low weight's -0.102. But when that's added to having a worse first shot spread multiplier, well, it's not a great result overall. And then when you consider spread decrease, well, the result becomes even more lopsided. The low weight has a stat of 8.925, the defensive sits at just 2.975. What does this all mean? Well, the defensive has worse recoil for prolonged fire, as well as worse overall spread. It literally just performs worse. Burst firing is also affected due to significantly worse decrease for both recoil and spread, as well as first shot spread multiplier. I'm not just using stats here either. As I mentioned, I recently used the low weight for a video, and using the defensive now, it just feels worse overall. The Perino is an extremely stable and accurate weapon regardless of variant, of course, so it's not a huge deal, but I just question why you'd want to choose a variant that is essentially just objectively weaker, especially when they both have a bipod for ranged fights. It's a damn laser beam regardless of firing in full auto or burst fire, but I just figured may as well choose the better one. Or I say bipod, but the defensive apparently has a tripod. But in terms of performance, I can't find a single thing that this alters. If you know for sure that it does do something, then let me know in the comments, but I can't find anything about it anywhere online, nor can I find a difference when playing. It seemingly functions exactly like a bipod. Now if it allowed you to use it while crouched, then that would be great and a genuine reason for using the defensive variant, but as of recording this video, it doesn't. So again, I see absolutely no reason to use the defensive variant. Oh, and throw on top of this that, as with my Huot optical coverage, I don't like the sights anyway. They're chunky and obscure too much of what I'm looking at. Add this to the rangefinder or whatever it's called that sticks out of the Perino, and it all just feels like a clunky mess. I can cope with it on the low weight, but having your vision obscured both in and out of ADS is a real pain on the defensive. And so essentially, that's what I have to say about the Perino defensive. I know this isn't as long as my usual coverage, but it's basically that simple. There aren't too many statistical differences between the two variants, but the ones that are different really do matter, and basically result in this variant being objectively poor when compared with the low weight. If you want to use it because it's fun or you like it or whatever else, then go for it. More power to you. But in terms of stats and performance in game, I can't think of a single reason to recommend it to anyone. So, what do you think of the Perino defensive? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating would be super appreciated, as would a subscription if you're new around here, and turn on those notifications with the bell button because YouTube sucks at putting things in sub boxes. Now let's go over to the board of awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. That Patreon support allows me to make this much content and spend this much time on each video. So thanks so much to everybody on here. If you want to join them on the board of awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and in my pinned comment. And with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy and I'll see you next time. Laters.